And this video saying the world's most expensive cars and putting a number of $100 million on it and spreading some free literature about it maybe being worth $300 million, it's just cotton candy carnival BS. It's a game. And the influencers are playing a game. I don't like the game. I think it's stupid. Because that game cannot be won. KW makes the perfect suspension for every demand. Find them in the description below. What's up, people? Well, today I'm excited because I get to call BS on Supercar Blondie and a video entitled The World's Most Expensive Car. Now, recently, Supercar Blondie, whom I actually like and enjoy her videos, so no, this is not a personal attack, but some BS is going on with regard to this car. So there is a 1955 Mercedes 300 SLR that she has recently done a video on and saying this in the description. This is the world's most expensive car. Yes, literally the #1 most expensive car in the world. This car is worth over 100 million and it is the 1955 Mercedes 300 SLR. Some experts have even valued the Mercedes at over $300 million. Only 2 of these Mercedes SLRs exist in the world. Both are owned by Mercedes, a freaking company that's sponsoring this and giving it to her, in parentheses, and have never been put up for sale and will never be sold. You can Supercar Blondie on, blah, 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 blah. Okay, guys, now, how is it that I'm able to call BS on something so grandiose and big league? I would first say, in a very sort of tongue-in-cheek way, I have a full-scale flying pterosaur on the ceiling and nobody else does. I'm basically in a secret lair, and I used to have the turbine-powered Batmobile, but it disappeared to a secret lair. I might know a thing or two from behind the scenes of things I can't even talk about in public and can bring to you all right now. Now, how do I first know that video on Supercar Blondie and Mercedes are totally full of crap right now? Well, it's 2021. We're in a massive wealth bubble with cars, and the separation of the wealthy have gotten super uber wealthy in the last 2 years. So car prices are dramatically inflated. So Mercedes, through Supercar Blondie, are trying to make you all think their Mercedes 300 SLR is worth $100 million, even though it hasn't been sold and won't be sold because it's owned by a factory. So therefore, it's already total BS relating to the total BS of YouTube and social media, which I'll go into, that even relates to me and Ben Wiki. I'm going to call out our own BS and other people's BS today. True. Now, how do I know that $100 million for a car now is not the most expensive car in the world? Because I know for a fact, privately, that a person, an individual, an organization, some sort of entity out there in the world has already been turning down $100 million for a car, a collector type car. And that's all I'm going to say. And for all of the people out there, they're going to put me on the spot and be like, why don't you do public names and showcase things? Because I'm going to key you in on a little secret right now that no one will tell you but me. There are different rules to the game based upon what social strata you are on. And the reason why I've already ticked off a bunch of wealthy people through this channel is because I talk about things that, by those rules, you're not allowed to talk about. The first rule of Fight Club is don't talk about Fight Club. Well, I'm in a Fight Club. And in that Fight Club, I'm calling out BS on the video. You can't say a car that's never sold is worth X. And then you can't say that a bunch of people have valued it over $300 million. Okay, well, if you valued over $300 million, sell it to them. Let's see the money change hands. But even then, it's just a game. For all of those of you that are historians out there or pay attention to the nature of history of nations and governments and money, etc., have you not ever heard the quote, "If I control a nation's wealth, I care not who makes its laws"? Sort of applies when you get to this league, guys. The video was silly, and for any real car guys out there or real people that actually play in a super upscale league, it's fluff. It's cotton candy BS. And this video is saying the world's most expensive cars and putting a number of $100 million on it and spreading some free literature about it maybe being worth $300 million. It's just cotton candy carnival BS. But I already know that somebody's turning down $100 million for a car. That's all I'm going to tell you. You don't get to know what it is or where it is. Sorry, but I cannot break that rule of Fight Club because I actually have respect for certain things. I can tell you guys a lot, but I'm not going to tell you that. So let's go into some BS I can actually tell you about. Well, I've seen this kind of thing on the internet a lot of recent. People like to put extravagant numbers that they think relate to number theory to people to try to influence the market and world. And I've talked about price manipulation of cars. And heck, if you watch Car Trek, Ed Bullion himself with, what's his name? The guy in Miami or wherever that likes to uprate cars for sale, exotics. Tamarian, yeah, that guy. So Hoovy and Tavares were saying, oh, you're manipulating the market. And Tamarian's like, I wouldn't call it price manipulation because I'm still playing the game. And Ed's like, yeah, I would. So, unless I saw that wrong. But it exists, you guys. And one on the Lancia Stratos Zero prototype car, of which I am building a very cool emulation with a V12. There was a video not long ago, a $10,000 detail job on a $10 million car. I think that's what it was. Now, first of all, those numbers are arbitrary, okay? That car is not sold for $10 million. Okay, you can get anybody to write something down and evaluate anything at anything you want it to be. I've already got my gold member insured for $400 million in my mind, and I'm going to make a YouTube video saying that my gold member is insured for $400 million, and therefore it's worth $400 million? No, because my channel's not big enough. But what if I had 100 million people watching this channel? Maybe then it would be closer to worth that, because then I just influenced you to think that it's worth something. And at the end of the day, that's all this game is. That's all a value of car is. It's based upon what somebody thinks it's worth and will actually part with on a number, on a computer screen, at something called a bank. Or a bunch of little pieces of paper, oftentimes green, with pictures of dead presidents on them. Or a precious metal. It's a game. And the influencers are playing a game. I don't like the game. I think it's stupid. Because that game cannot be won. Did you hear what I said? The money game can't be won. So if you want to understand Casey Putsch, I don't play games that can't be won and provide no value to society. That's Casey Putsch. There you go. Now, the last BS I will call is, so recently, my more recent VinWiki video was of Formula Ford racing back in the day when I was younger. And that came out the same day that Car Trek came out, so the video tanked, and that's okay because it wasn't my best video. But Ed put something like college racing fantasy on a $10,000 budget or $15,000 budget. The number was completely arbitrary for a good title. The truth of the matter is, my dad and I did that car up for way cheaper than that. But $10,000 sounded better for a YouTube title and video for the sake of influencing. And that's what's going on with this SLR McLaren, or SL 300, 500, whatever, Mercedes. No Mercedes has ever been worth that much ever. Classically, it's the Ferraris that have been worth much. And if you go back in time to collecting, it was like Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost for a long time held the world record, if I'm not mistaken, for the most expensive car in the world. So unless a car has actually changed hands for X, Y, or Z, you don't get to just put magic figures on it and not back it up with anything. I mean, come on, Mercedes. Really? Really? What do you even care? You guys are literally just looking in the mirror, spreading free literature. Why don't you do something? Why don't you do something for the betterment of the future? It's such a stupid, stupid game. Like, why? I mean, how dumb do you think the mass populace is forever? I know that you think they're pretty dumb because you're using this to influence it, and it'll be zillions of people, and I'll get lit up by fans of Supercar Blondie for just telling the truth, and probably you guys will hate me and put me on some sort of German hit list. But seriously, that car worth that much money? Give me a break. I would rather have one of the Silver Arrow type cars in the late 30s, sponsored by a political party that you all don't want to associate with anymore. That was at least more interesting and more wild and woolly. And as far as Supercar Blondie goes, if you're going to say little factoids to make something sound cool, don't say dumb ones like, oh, the racing driver even suffered hearing loss from driving this car. Can you believe that? Isn't that mad? I'm like, yeah, I can, because race cars are loud. Ever seen one before? What a joke. The video's a joke. Mercedes, bad presentation, all of it, BS. I call BS. Woo, that stinks. I'm gonna open a window. Damn. Anyway, this is just it. This is the video. Before the pandemic wealth separation time bubble of right now, I already know people are turning down $100 million for a car, and it's not a silly German Mercedes. Now, I think you guys should hit that bell, subscribe, because we brought out so much BS today, I gotta go open the windows. See you guys next time. Well, a huge thank you to Crushproof Tubing Company. Since 1949 in Macomb, Ohio, they've been manufacturing custom rubber and plastic tubes for every industry imaginable. No tooling or mold costs, fast and free custom samples, and American-made quality is what sets them apart. But for me, I'm most excited about their exhaust evacuation kit. Different modular pieces and their convoluted custom hoses make it so that I can adapt any car, truck, or motorcycle with an internal combustion engine to get those exhaust gases out of my shop so I can keep working in safety and comfort. But beyond just that, they build a variety of hoses for a custom OEM world. You'll see stretchable drain tubing and bellows, as well as agriculture, medical, and military. So again, guys, Crushproof Tubing Company, crushproof.com, and go down in the description below to see where to get your free samples for industry or your exhaust tubing.